Scanning for audio.
Welcome to a Tin Dog podcast. This time talking about Torchwood Main Range release number 33, Dead Man's Switch, released November 2019. Just as a sideline, this is the Tin Dog podcast number 903. I know, you've been with me for a very, very long time. Bless you. So, written by David Llewellyn, starring Murray Melvin. Yes, it's a Bilis Manger story. That's enough to put the willies up almost anyone. Here's the synopsis. A devious antiques dealer, a property developer, a heartbroken hairdresser, three strangers sit on a train that's going nowhere. They are joined by a mysterious figure, Bilis Manger, wants to tell them how they died. Yep, it's one of the creepiest of all of the Torchwoods, and let's address the elephants in the room. It's an Amicus remake. Well, no, that is absolutely 100% cheapening Amicus, cheapening Torchwood, cheapening this story. Right, what you've actually got is a cracking release. I mean, Bilis is terrifying at the best of times. But yes, an argument could be made that it kind of bears more than a passing resemblance to Dr. Terror's House of Horrors. Now, this is one of those Milton Subotsky stories. Right, pay attention, everyone. This is important. British horror movies have two big players. Not just Hammer, like you think in the outside world. Amicus was there as well. They were the VHS and the Betamax of the world. They could produce some startling great stories, and Amicus is the perceived underdog. Yes, things like The Skull, with its, well, let's use the word padding, but it's all atmospheric and glorious. But this is where the portmanteau thing. Now, portmanteau is actually a word referring to a piece of furniture, usually a dresser that's had a cabinet stuck to the top, meaning made of parts, but it becomes something bigger. Yeah? With these stories, and there's a few of them, you've got individual tales of terror, which are all glued together, some really well, some of them not so well, with an overriding arc. You might find out that everyone telling the story is in an asylum at the end, or you might find out that such and such had happened. Well, you know, because of the description that you've just heard, everyone has died. So what you've got is everyone in this lovely carriage telling their story of how they got to this point in the story where they all died. And they've all got terrifying tales. You've basically got three spooky stories. Now, the fact that the rest of the Torchwood people aren't involved here, and you've just got Bilis, who isn't really Torchwood cast, makes it a kind of Torchwood Light storyline. Does that make sense? So yes, that's the history of the portmanteau movie. Lots of individual tales of terror, or tales from the dark side, or Twilight Zone-y kind of things happening with an overriding story arc. Overriding story arc is that Bilis is in each of these stories, just like this Dr. Terror. Now, you could have set this story anywhere, but of course, speaking as someone who's submitted his fair share of Big Finish storylines and never got anywhere, you do start to get the feeling that all of us writers are fixated on sticking characters on trains because they're something that goes from A to B, and you've got no choice but to sit down and either chat or experience life and things like that. Everyone thinks they're on their way somewhere else. The overarching storyline actually makes more sense than some of these early Amicus stories. And when it gets to that point, you go, oh yeah, that now makes sense. Now, similarly, with these early Amicus stories, people tell stories that are twisted and a bit dangerous. But my favourite one is the story with some particularly distasteful characters. And then there's one storyline where somebody pays full price for a doll and doesn't try and swindle the scary old man. And they manage to survive their spooky story. Yeah, echoes of that also appear. But you know what? I don't care. Because what you've got here are some cracking, scary, almost ghost stories. I mean, tremendously good stuff. Ideal for those winter months. You've got a competitor for the spookiest of all Big Finish releases, and I don't say that lightly because there have been some pretty terrifying releases over the years. So, is it worthy? Yes, without question. Is it part of the overarching narrative? You know what? Surprisingly, it is. Is it something you desperately need? Well, I would say you'd be a fool not to get this one, because atmosphere-wise, 100% superb. You can smell the places mentioned, and that's just great. Yes, Dr. Terrible's House of Horrors with Steve Coogan does kind of come into play a little bit, but you know what? I don't care. If you're a fan of Hammer, fan of Amicus, put your pens down, download this, and just listen to it and enjoy. Trust me, you will love this. Anyone who's a fan of the Paul Cannell and Liz Miles Hammer House of podcasting, well, just get this. And I think that is a true vote of confidence. It's this month's release. Get it now. So until next time, when I'll try and talk about Doctor Who, be seeing you.
Coming soon from Big Finish Productions. Torchwood, Dead Man's Switch.
Excuse me.
What?
I said, excuse me, we've stopped.
Stopped? What do you mean, stopped?
Well, so where are we?
It's pitch black out there, I can't see a thing.
Where's the conductor?
Hello? Hello? Is anyone...
I am terribly sorry. I do hope I didn't frighten you. You all seem rather agitated. What seems to be the trouble?
All three of us nodded off and now the train's just stopped.
Yes, I did notice that.
Do you have any idea where we are?
Where we are. Where we are. So many philosophical possibilities.
Big Finish. We love stories.
Dubstep, is it?
Dubbed step?
That was the Doctor Who Tin Dog Podcast, available on iTunes, YouTube, Twitter, RSS, Vimeo, and across the internet. Doctor Who and its associated properties are all copyright and trademark of the BBC. No infringement is intended. Why not become a supporter by visiting patreon.com/tindog. Contact the show on tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.